What you're about to see is one of the most explosive political showdowns ever recorded in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom. When an entitled mayor's wife walked in, thinking her husband's position made her untouchable, she made the catastrophic mistake of threatening a sitting judge. What happened next not only shattered her arrogance, but also ended her husband's political career, sparking the biggest corruption scandal in Providence history. This story shows what happens when political privilege collides with judicial authority, when someone mistakes their spouse's elected office for unlimited power, and when a mayor's wife discovers that threatening a judge is the fastest way to destroy everything her husband has built. It's a tense Wednesday morning, and Providence Municipal Court is handling its usual cases. The courtroom doors swing open, and in strides Vicki Romano, the 45-year-old wife of Providence Mayor Anthony Romano. She moves with the confidence of someone who believes her husband's job grants her immunity from the rules. She's dressed in an expensive suit, her jewelry flashing, her whole demeanor screaming that she's never been told no. Vicki is here for a parking ticket she got 3 weeks ago for parking in a fire lane. The fine is a standard $200 plus court costs, but Vicki isn't here to pay. She believes her status as the mayor's wife exempts her from such petty rules. What she doesn't realize is she's about to face a judge with 35 years of experience, a judge who has zero tolerance for politicians or their families who think they're above the law. As Vicki approaches the stand, her body language is confrontational. She keeps checking her watch as if this is all a waste of her time. Vicki Romano, the court clerk, announces. Vicki steps forward, assuming everyone knows who she is. Judge Caprio looks up. He's seen this kind of arrogance countless times. Mrs. Romano, he begins, his voice calm but firm. You're charged with parking in a designated fire lane. How do you plead? Vicki's response sets the stage for a political showdown. Your Honor, she says, her voice dripping with condescension, I'm pleading not guilty. This citation is a misunderstanding of the practical realities of political leadership. Judge Caprio sets down his pen. That's never a good sign. Mrs. Romano, were you conducting official city business at the time? Your Honor, I was at a political fundraiser for my husband's re-election campaign. As the mayor's wife, my attendance is essential. The courtroom goes quiet. She just claimed campaign events should exempt her from fire safety laws. Mrs. Romano, do you hold any elected office or official position with the city? Judge Caprio asks. Vicki's irritation shows, Your Honor, as the mayor's wife. I serve in an unofficial but vital capacity. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change, but court veterans know what's coming. Mrs. Romano, can you cite the specific law that exempts a mayor's spouse from fire safety regulations? Vicki pauses, clearly unprepared for a legal challenge. Your Honor, I think you're missing the bigger picture here. The silence is deafening. She just suggested Judge Caprio doesn't understand his own job. But she's not done. Your Honor, she continues, I've been involved in Providence politics for 15 years as the mayor's wife. I think I understand municipal authority better than someone who sits in a courtroom all day dealing with minor infractions. The courtroom gasps. She just insulted the judge's expertise. But what she says next is even more explosive. Vicki looks directly at Judge Caprio. Your Honor, I think you need to consider the practical implications. My husband is the mayor. He appoints people to various boards. The city's budget affects court funding. I suggest you think carefully about how you handle this case. She just threatened a sitting judge with political retaliation. She crossed a line that will destroy her husband's career and ignite a massive political scandal. What Judge Caprio does next will systematically demolish her arrogance. He slowly stands up, a rare gesture that signals something big is about to happen. He removes his glasses and looks directly at Vicki. Mrs. Romano, he says, his voice perfectly controlled, did you just threaten this court with political retaliation? Still confident, Vicki doubles down. I'm simply pointing out the realities of how municipal governance operates. Judge Caprio nods slowly. I see. Mrs. Romano, since you've threatened this court, let me share some information with you about how our system of government actually works. Are you familiar with the constitutional principle of separation of powers and judicial independence? Vicki hesitates, sensing a trap. Your Honor, I understand that leadership requires cooperation. That's not what I asked, Mrs. Romano. Are you familiar with the requirement that the judiciary remain independent from political pressure? Her confidence cracks. Your Honor, I never intended to threaten anyone. Mrs. Romano. Judge Caprio interrupts. Threatening a judge isn't just inappropriate, it's potentially criminal. It's called judicial intimidation, and it's a felony under Rhode Island state law. The arrogance drains from Vicki's face as she realizes she may have committed a serious crime on camera. Furthermore, you suggested I don't understand municipal governance. I've been practicing municipal law for 45 years. I've served on this bench for 35 years. I've worked with 12 different mayors. I understand municipal authority far better than politicians who think their spouse's election makes them experts. But the judge is just getting started. He pulls out a thick file. Mrs. Romano, since you've claimed political authority, I took the liberty of reviewing your parking violation history. Vicki's face goes pale. According to city records, you've received 11 parking violations in the past 2 years. How many did you pay, Mrs. Romano? The courtroom is dead silent. Your Honor, I'm not sure. I'll help you, the judge says. You paid 0. You've ignored 11 citations, accumulating over $2,200 in unpaid fines. Vicki tries to speak, but the judge continues. Furthermore, city parking enforcement has documented 17 times where you used your political status to avoid citations, including twice where you told officers, and I quote, "Do you know who my husband is?" This ticket will disappear. Her arrogance is gone, replaced by terror as her pattern of corruption is exposed. Your Honor, those were misunderstandings. Mrs. Romano, threatening parking officers with political retaliation isn't a misunderstanding. It's abuse of power. And now you've threatened a judge with the same corrupt tactics. Judge Caprio's voice grows stronger. What he announces next will create the biggest scandal in Providence history. Mrs. Romano, not only am I finding you guilty and imposing the full fine, but I'm also holding you in contempt of court for threatening judicial independence. Vicki's mouth opens in shock. Furthermore, he continues, I am directing the court to forward a transcript of today's proceedings to the Rhode Island Attorney General's Office for Investigation of Judicial Intimidation and Political Corruption, and I am referring this matter to the City Council Ethics Committee for a full investigation into Mayor Romano's administration. Vicki looks like she's about to faint. Your Honor, you can't destroy my husband's career over a parking ticket. Mrs. Romano, I'm not destroying his career. You destroyed his career the moment you threatened a judge while showing a pattern of corruption that reflects directly on his administration. In this courtroom, the Constitution matters more than campaign contributions. The judge returns to his bench. Mrs. Romano, your fine is $200. Your contempt citation is another $500 and 40 hours of community service. But more importantly, you'll be explaining to the Attorney General, the Ethics Committee, and the voters why a judge found your conduct to be corrupt and threatening to our democracy. Vicki whispers, Your Honor, please. I'm not finished, he says. Let this be a lesson to every political family. Your elected office is a privilege, not a license to threaten judges or ignore laws. Mrs. Romano, I suggest you and your husband reflect on the difference between public service and personal privilege. Judge Caprio raises his gavel. Court is adjourned, the gavel falls, but the story is far from over. Political reporters swarmed Vicki as she left the courthouse. The video of her humiliation went viral, viewed over 5 million times in 48 hours. Within hours, the Attorney General's office announced an investigation. The City Council called an emergency ethics hearing. Local newspapers called for Mayor Romano's resignation. That evening, Mayor Anthony Romano held a press conference. Standing beside his wife, he announced he would not seek re-election. The Romano political dynasty, built over 15 years, collapsed in a single morning because a mayor's wife thought she could threaten a judge. This case became a powerful reminder that in a true democracy, no one is above the law. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.